a higher purpose and value. You need to enhance and improve some and expand some of its works and individual members' capacity and contribution to society. What would you say are some of the ways, in your view, on how to transform a group?
Let me begin with your own ways.
Yes.
To transform a group, you have to look at where it is. Let us say we are a group of old students.
Yes.
And we had agreed that we will always meet every weekend and share a drink. To transform ourselves, we have to give ourselves a higher purpose. A purpose beyond weekend drinking, beyond weekend lunch, sharing lunch, beyond family visits. We look at something higher than that. That can be determined by a new collective or shared objective. Once we have a shared objective, we can then say, let us start a journey towards some other objective other than this which we normally do. If we have collectively agreed to meet every weekend or every month, and we have been doing it, now we can have a higher purpose. Let us establish a philanthropic organization that reaches out to the vulnerable around the world. Once you do that, then you ask among group members, who can do this? What are you good at? What are you good at? This one says, I'm good at communication. Another one says, I'm good at resource mobilization. Another one says, I'm very beautiful at branding. So you now start pursuing this goal of reaching out to the vulnerable. It means the group now is shifting from where it was, regular meetings and interactions and sharing a meal, to serving broader purposes, societal purposes, or bigger humanity. Now, when that happens, it means for you to move from where you were to another level, you have to set rules of the game. How do we serve humanity? How do we serve vulnerable groups? How do we reach out to those that need our services? You set rules, you follow these rules. After setting rules and following these rules, then you assign responsibilities among group members, depending on their willingness and depending on their capacity, and then you start working towards that higher purpose. Briefly, that is how you transform a group.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, so
if the group keeps doing the things that it has been doing, it cannot transform. If a group keeps the same objectives as it has been working on, the same activities, the same engagements, it cannot transform. For it to transform, it has to look up, to open up itself, to challenge itself to newer purposes and higher responsibilities.
So in that whole process that you're talking about, what would be the, how can I say, what would be the role and the importance of relationships, and what level should they be? If we have all agreed, we are all busy, we are coming for lunch, and now we have gotten a higher purpose, what role does the nature of relationships play in that acquisition of that purpose?
Within a group, there may be an initiator who proposes that you do something new. But the best way to transform a group is to make sure that every group member buys into the idea of that higher purpose. It is better when you have group consensus than imposition by some charismatic member of the group. Why? Within the group, you need more horizontal relationships than hierarchical relationships. Because hierarchical relationships will create power differences, feelings of inequality, and progressively you can evolve elements of resentment. But when the relationship remains horizontal, one person is a leader this year, next year another one is a leader, the other year another one is a leader. Even if you are pursuing a much higher purpose, every one of you has a responsibility and contributes their capacities and potentials to the achievement of the higher purpose.
Yeah, so more light on horizontal engagements. What exactly is horizontal engagement? Does it mean that I'm not understanding it? Maybe.
Horizontal relationships means that none of the group members is a boss of the other. Briefly stating, none of the group members is a boss
of the other.
All of you, when you are interacting as equals. You may have different heights, different body sizes. You may have different levels of wealth behind you, but when you meet as group members, you are all equal. Even when you are current chairperson of the group, tomorrow someone else is chairperson or someone before you was chairperson of the group. This means that you don't look to someone else whom you think is higher than you in your relationships. And because of that, the true potential, the true productive potential and self-expression of the group members comes out more easily. So when the group expands to levels where you think you need hierarchical structures, then it would have evolved into an organization.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think now I get it. I hope our dear listeners are understanding it very well.
I know some will disagree with this idea, but I think whenever you are members of the group, make sure you remain equals. A group should be a people who are really equals in terms of their feelings and expressions.
So in the journey of transformation of a group, do you think that there could be some do's, specific things that people must do or should do that maintain the cohesion and the growth and transformation of a group?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know whether this is a theory or this is an idea, but the idea is that when the group members come together and agree on what they are going to do as something beyond what they have been doing, there are some things they should do. Number one, they should avoid the temptation to think that as group members, you are the best. Sociologists call it group think.
Yes.
Don't think that your ideas and your convictions are the best and that the rest of the society out there does not have better ideas. You need to avoid that. But the other thing to do is to socialize, mobilize the group so that all of the group members understand this purpose which you are going to achieve. Because if you came with an idea and think, oh, that's good, is it good enough? That's not enough, because unless group members have taken the time to also study this which you purpose to do and convince themselves that it is good, at some point resentment may come in or demotivation. So all should be socialized to understand that this is a good purpose.
Yeah, because from the legalistic aspect of, from the legalistic point of view, for groups to exist, we are almost moved to think that they must have a certain set of rules, a certain set of governing instructions. What do you think is the role? What would be the role of that kind of structure?
Group rules should be more informal than formal impositions on a written document. Someone should know that they respect group members. Someone should know that they respect the opinions of other group members. Someone should know that when they are invited into a group gathering, they come. Someone knows that when they are entrusted with group resources, they manage them well. These informal rules are more important than written impositions, which should define the relationship between this group and the external world, the people outside the group. The rules between the group and the people outside the group may be written, but the main guiding principles of the group need not be written.
Okay, so how, I think that on that point you've explained it well. There is usually, and from my experience, I've seen that most times groups can begin from a common point or common purpose, but along the way, then they obtain constraints. In a financial world, we see one of the constraints may be sharing of the money. Anyway, even along the other group objectives. Well, how would a group which is intending to transform itself into something maybe longer lasting, visible for some time, achieving its purpose, how would they have in play the rules? Because it's the rules that guide. How would they handle the issue of constraints and challenges?
One way is to anticipate and prevent intra-group conflicts. Either conflict over resources, conflict over value, and conflict over objectives. That's one way of preventing those intra-group conflicts. The other way is to posit the group as a free-flowing expression, so that if anything is to shatter the group, it is exogenous. Once upon a time, I have formed many groups, but one of my groups, which I formed when I was still a teenager, collapsed. I formed it when I was a secondary student, and along the way, we got an exogenous shock that scattered the members. Out of the 12 members of the group then, it's now 4 who are still together after more than 20 years.
Yes.
But what I have seen is that it's more of the informal bonds that kept the 4 of us than the material and other ideational objectives we wanted to achieve that kept the 4 of us together but kicked off the rest of the 8 when that external shocker hit the group. I will not say what the external shocker was, but if viewers have the experience of groups forming,
I think you should tell us.
But they should know that they should get a higher purpose, assign responsibilities, set and follow their rules for them to transform their group.
Any don'ts, things that they should, as a group that is a going concern, that they
I
must.
talked about looking at yourself as the best. If you are a group and you keep sharing among yourselves, you may think that your ideas are the best. That's what you have to avoid, because you have to keep learning and evolving. The other don't is to avoid conflict with the broader society or with the higher authorities, wherever they are. Try to be at peace as much as you can. And the final one is that even if you are to be a revolutionary group, make sure that the revolutionary causes you are pursuing serve the common purpose, so that you have the societal support that can help you to survive. Criminal groups, rebel groups, and bandits survive when they are the minimum of what they are doing serves a higher societal purpose. Otherwise, when you are rejected by both the society and the governing authorities, the group will be crushed and disappears.
Oh yes, thank you so much, Professor. Unless we have any further questions from our viewers, that would be our discussion on group transformation. We intend to receive queries, comments,
questions,
yeah.
so that we can share more on related things.
Okay.
Please check for our next episode on family transformation, and please remember to refer to our previous conversation on personal transformation. Thank you.
Thank you so much.